The best years are over for savers. That's according to Allianz's latest global wealth report, which says households face a real dilemma in making the right investment choices. It says that the current extreme monetary policies by central banks means new saving solutions are necessary. Let's bring into the conversation Michael Heiser, who is chief economist at Allianz. Michael, give us the takeaway message from this report.
Yes, good morning. The main message is that the growth of financial assets globally has slowed down. The effects of monetary policy on valuations on stock markets and bond markets are not as strong as they used to be in the years following 2012, where we had very strong growth, globally about 9% per annum of global financial assets. That has slowed down, especially in the industrialized world. The emerging markets are still catching up in terms of growth, financial wealth, but in the industrial world, it has slowed down quite considerably.
In this wealth report, as you talk about this disparity, and I'll just highlight it for our audience, Western Europe growth in financial assets at 3.2% versus 2.4% in the States and 14.8% in Asia, ex-Japan. So what's the answer to try and continue to push up savings in financial assets so we all have something for retirement?
Yes, well, the lead position is taken by Asia. You mentioned the figure, 14.1% emerging Asia, not Japan. Japan is, of course, growing very slowly in terms of financial assets. The reason here is that we have strong growth of real incomes in many Asian markets and high savings rate. That is behind these quite stellar growth rates. What can we do in the industrialized world to speed up the growth of wealth, the accumulation of assets? Well, I think fairly high savings rates are needed in the low rate and return environment. People just have to save a little more to reach the goals they are aiming for their old age income and the protection against other risks in life. So high savings rates are certainly part of the game. But beyond that, we see that there is a high preference of savers to keep their assets in liquidity, in form of liquidity, bank deposits, cash, which does not yield any return anymore. And of course, this inhibits the growth of assets. So some restructuring on the asset side would certainly help to raise the growth of overall wealth.
Dr. Heiser, I read your report, and it seems to me that you're saying to, well, who are you saying to? Are you saying to the central banks, enough is enough? Or are you saying to the governments, including Frau Merkel, we need to see you spending money to alleviate the pressure on the central banks? Or is it you guys turning around to both parties and saying, we will save more, not spend more, because that is our reaction to this financial repression?
I think that is the reaction. Savers are, in our view, behaving quite rationally, quite sensibly. They are not reacting to zero or negative interest rates by going into the stores and spending their money because saving is not attractive. At least the German savers are not doing that. They're saving even a little bit more than they have been so far in the past. So the central bank, in our view, is not reaching its goal of stimulating consumption and correcting the course of very low interest rates. Would be helpful for the savers. By the way, it would also be helpful for the banks. They are really, taking a beating due to negative interest rates. So we would argue that a different monetary policy would be helpful. Fiscal spending, in our view, is fairly high in the Eurozone. Of course, Germany has some leeway, but this is not the solution to higher growth. We need reform, more investment, more private investment to stimulate growth, not more public debt. Yes, that would be our conclusion.